effective team. So we have a pretty robust program called Erase Pathogens in place that is really designed with that spirit and that desire in mind. But a specific kind of offshoot of that that's come out is a video series that we're in the process of wrapping up. It's just a 3-part video series. Each one is no longer than 2 minutes, but kind of take us back to the basics and create a really digestible, it's a video, it's animated, there's like fun music in the background, kind of a digestible, approachable piece of educational content for customers who maybe don't have that robust process and training in place already. So the first video was all about how to clean a patient room. So obviously you can't cover all the nitty gritty in 2 minutes. There's so much more there, but covering some of those key critical steps, some of those tips and tricks that may not be obvious. And then the second video was all about how to select a disinfectant. So especially as people are maybe not getting the products that they're used to getting and they're being forced to look at other options, trying to equip them with the knowledge that they need in order to make smart decisions for them and for their staff and for their patients. And then the third will be all about the differences between cleaning, disinfection, and sterilization. So and then with each of those videos, we've got some additional educational content. So that's something that I think I'm particularly proud of and just glad that we can offer to customers is that, beyond the product support of how can we help them educate their teams and when you got people, joining the team for the first time or adding a helping hand, other areas around the facility, being able to lean back on some of these educational tools to make it easier and ultimately more effective to incorporate them is hopefully helpful. So that's one
really
thing that
great
comes
to
to mind
hear.
for me.
Deanne, Jeff, thoughts on the Erase Pathogen videos and learning series?
Well, I have a thought. We just are getting ready to start our day of renewal training process. So our day of renewal training process is a day that we will renew training of all the things we've learned or have done throughout the year. So that one day is a refresher course, and we call it Day of Renewal. So I would love to see these videos. So maybe we can incorporate 1 or 2 into Day of Renewal.
Sure, we'll talk after.
Yeah. I see Sylvia jotting down some notes. Jeff, I hear you. What's going on over there?
Yeah, I was just gonna say if I thought their descriptions were great. If they make them fun, that's always a great way to get people hooked. It's not just teaching them stuff important, but if you can make it fun and engaging, the content will stay with them longer. They'll remember it, and they'll be better equipped when they find themselves out in an actual patient care environment and they have to take care of it properly. And they'll be less prone to missing things that human error can cause, and it results in a stronger safety outcome for our patients. So it's always a good thing. I'm looking forward to seeing them as well.
And I think I was just going to say, I think, sorry, Deb, I was going to say, I think EVS in general, the industry really could use some more standardization. There's no reason.
Yes, absolutely.
There's no reason why all of us should be doing things differently. And there's so many regulations in healthcare, yet there's really nobody that does it really great to standardize the cleaning process. And we all adapt these little different things to increase patient experience. And when it comes down to it, and Dion and Jeff and I had a heated debate over Press Ganey and scores, and we know what drives that and what makes that important. But when it comes down to it, it's really about infection control and patient safety. So the patient experience is extremely important. Um, but we too share your passion for infection control, and I've heard about the Erase Pathogen program before, and very exciting to be able to get a sample and see the program, and then hopefully, right, be able to roll it out to all our teams. So that's really great. Deb, I interrupted you, Deb. Go ahead.
No, please. This is conversation. I think, and Tess can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like part of the development of that program is born out of the feedback that we've gotten from customers. Because, I think the best business partners, we're not just here to sell you a product. We're here to make sure, again, it comes down to your patients. Are they safe or are they not? And so what tools can we provide to you above and beyond just a widget? A widget is a widget. But a company that supports the widget is something very special and something very unique, because it's an amalgamation of people who care that you can do the best that you can do for your patients, because they realize that that patient could be my family member. It could be me. If I'm traveling in New York, or I have family in New York, they could be at any one of your hospitals, and I want to make sure that they are in the cleanest and most disinfected room that it can possibly be. And I think Tess has done a real great job of making sure that, those videos are engaging, providing input. We always seek out your input also. So if you have feedback, that's something that we welcome. But I think that piece that she mentioned, making it very short and digestible, especially in a day and age where people's attention spans are so short, I am super guilty of that, But if you think about it, I think the best YouTube videos, TikTok is kind of based on that premise, Snapchat, something that's 1 minute, ideally, sometimes up to 2 minutes, anything beyond that, have
You're
you...
losing attention.
Exactly. So it's those bite-sized pieces, and all together you make a full training program.
Really great. Love that. And Sylvia, your customers, right? What are they asking for? Like, what's top of their mind right now? Top 3 things. Name them. Go. You're on a timer.
Scrubs.
Go. Scrubs.
Anti-sheet. And any sort of PPE, mostly reusable isolation gowns. Those would be.
Did you say reusable isolation gowns?
Reusable. The market is shifting to reusable products, unbelievably.
That
Wow.
makes so much
Dion.
sense. I hate disposable isolation gowns.
Yes.
It is a waste, a waste, a waste. I don't know who thought of it. I don't.
So
It's such a waste.
before we started the podcast, we were talking about something that we should not talk about in our podcast. It's top secret. But Dion's feelings for that topic, these are much more stronger feelings for disposable isolation gowns. And when we round, Dion talks about them sticking out of the garbage cans, and they're just all over the place. And what a waste, and a lot of trash in our landfills too.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So reusable isolation gowns.
But
Sylvia.
not just the trash. How many trees you have to cut down to make gowns? Reusable gowns. They're not plastic. So, I'm seeing some, plastic now, but maybe they're running out of paper because there's so many trees that was destroyed. We
I
talk
think
about the earth and reusable and being green. This is the time to go back to being green. You were saying something, Liz?
No, I was just going to say it's going to be really interesting to see, and that's just one thing that's making a comeback, because I remember, don't want to age myself, right? But I remember when reusable and launderable PPE gowns were the only thing, and then when disposable were introduced, everyone went crazy over disposable. It's the best thing, but sometimes change and innovation is not always innovation is always a great thing, but in this time I think the environment in both inside of hospitals and nursing homes and healthcare facilities and our outside environment took a hit for this one. So it's really good to see someone working on this.
Well,
think you said something.
Dion just touched on. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, please, Jeff.
No, I was just going to say, Dion touched on a really important point about like running out of things. And on an earlier episode of this podcast, Dion, Liz, and I, we had a pretty great constructive conversation around preparations for a possible second wave. And one of the main challenges that we're all facing is, how are we ensuring that we have available the things that we need? And that includes PPE items, it includes disinfectants and cleaning chemicals and hand sanitizer and paper products and so forth. So just wanted to ask you ladies, Medline's a huge company. You guys do business all over the country. I know you do business internationally. And I think one of the challenges out there for a lot of companies that supply healthcare is that we have so much reliance on the foreign markets to make things for us. In your opinion, do you think Medline sees an opportunity to shift things back over to this country so that way in the event there is another incident that we're not going to be challenged as much to get the things that we need?
I can speak to the hand hygiene aspect of that. So one of the reasons why we did so well with the hand hygiene portion of it is because Medline diversified its manufacturing. Majority of our hand sanitizer is made domestically. So we were able to control that aspect of it. And Deb, you can add to that with your point of view on the wipes and those items.
I think so. Jeff, it's like you read my mind because I was about to talk about the supply chain for us, and then for you as our customers, your supply chain in turn. Something that I think we've noticed as a trend for all of the disinfectant side of EVS, and I think even our JanSan products, is that we've always known that it's not unwise to be sole source, to put all your eggs in one basket with one manufacturing partner or one supplier, one vendor. But there's something I think that has really come to light is that, yes, you don't want to keep everything overseas. That is completely true. But also, the domestic sources, you want to really keep a variety of options. And that's how you are going to be able to maintain your pipeline for customers and for your patients. At the same time, it also helps you be nimble in situations where something unforeseen happens, right? So if there's there are some factories out there that have been affected by COVID. Fortunately, none of ours have, but we know others in the industry have been affected by having their location shut down. And if you are committed to one place, what are you going to do? So I think something that Medline has been able to tap into is the variety of relationships that we have, further investing in those, as well as building new relationships to really invest in our supply chain. And I think that's something that I'm finding, and I'd be interested in hearing from you all as our customers. What are you finding you're having to do to ensure that you have that kind of continuity with your product mix? We are finding that we've got to mix up our vendors, or our supply chain, I should say.
We are doing the same exact thing. And then also we found out that being a hoarder is really not a bad thing. It's not as bad. It's 100%. Not as bad as A&E show Hoarders Buried Alive makes it seem, because
let me echo that point, because Liz, Dion, and I, being friends and coworkers, I remember Liz reached out to me right at the onset of this, and she's like, "Hey, are you stocked up on your orders?"
I was at Chicago Airport.
Yeah, and you called me like, "Did you stock up on your orders?" And I'm like, "No, but that's a great idea." I had our admin team place a massive order. Then I called Dion, and he did the same thing, and we had to stay ahead of the curve. And I think I can speak for my campuses. We've done fairly well, but it's challenging, especially because we place orders, and we have vendors that are saying we're going to expect a big drop shipment of disinfectant or in sanitizer on this date, and I'm looking in my stock rooms to say, okay, I think I can wait until then, and then the day comes, and we're behind, but we'll make up for it, and it's really tough, especially
Jeff, for full disclosure. For full disclosure, I placed my order 2 days before calling Jeff.
Ah.
Head start.
I,